Hi. Hi. How's it going? I can't hear you. Hi guys, welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi Carlos. We have Jacob in the car. Hey Bo.
How you feeling?
All right. We're
Good.
you know.
Hey, Jacob. Hey, Janet. Bo.
Hi.
All right. It looks like I'm Jacob, but I'm Elise. Most of you know me. Welcome. We can't hear Jacob because he's in the car and doesn't know how to unmute himself in the car.
I like your new look.
Maybe that's all right.
Bitch, I can unmute myself in the car. I just choose not to.
Oh, that's probably better.
Sounds like oh shit, I'm unmuted. So, sorry guys. I was at my condo that I'm trying to remodel and flip / turn into an investment property, and our contractor went out there to help us. Needless to say,
he looked like he knew what he was doing.
I look up which this is. This is DeWalt. That's a company that makes, hammers. And
oh
no, like tools. They make tools.
Yes.
Yeah, they're tools. And so I had this hat from a dance gig, and we were going to rhinestone it, but we didn't have enough time. And in hindsight, I'm glad that we didn't, because it gives me mad street cred when I walk into the lesbian store like Lowe's, and they look at me like I know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, then I have to ask for assistance, and it's very, very obvious that I have no idea what I'm doing, and I do not do dirty things, really ever. So now I'm running home, and I should be home at 3:06 when the call started at 2. I mean 3. Where are we? I don't know.
In the wrong time zone, apparently.
So how's everybody doing today?
There we go. There's Jonathan.
Nelson made it. Jonathan's on here, and let's see. There's Mr. Jorgensen. Hello, Dustyn. How are you, buddy?
Where'd you go? Good. How are you, sir?
I'm glad to see you. Usually, I am actually. You're very kind. Usually, I actually do look good, and I'm in front of my computer right now. So please don't think this is normal.
Yes. Well, you look very extra with that DeWalt hat on. Jealous.
Extra.
I look pretty extra most of the time. Yeah, it's a good word for it. So, so we're so glad to have you on the show today, guys. Welcome to the party.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Well, it's about time you made it. I was trying to get you to come watch the show, and actually forever, but in order to get that happen, I'd had to be on it. So way to be difficult to keep about it. But yeah, I'm welcome.
We don't like making things easy, so.
Apparently not. Yeah. You were Jonathan. Hey, Jonathan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I am awesome. So let me tell you guys a little bit of these two knuckleheads and how I met them. We were in prison, and we were trying to get a shiv into a meatloaf, and I have no idea where that's going. So no. Yeah, I'll let that go. I was watching Orange is the New Black last week, and it's just stuck in my head. So no, I was actually at their 3-day basic training, wasn't I?
Yep.
In Texas.
Yep.
Right. And
Yes,
Dustyn and Jonathan were incredibly kind. I had such a good time with them, and they keep calling me sir, which I'm having to get used to.
I mean, you're old.
Shut that.
Oh.
They can hear you.
Oh, my bad.
I'm gonna Anyhow, so these two guys came up. They were all doe-eyed and had all these aspirations and dreams of what they wanted to accomplish. When was that? When were you guys taking your? When was that ago? How long ago?
May of last year.
That's it.
Over a year. Yeah.
Dear Jesus, I feel like that was like. I feel like I've known you for so much longer. So you guys decided to enroll in education to improve your financial literacy, and you wanted to invest in real estate, right?
Right.
That's
Tell us what happened next.
You want to go or you want me to go?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I mean, I guess.
Oh, shut up. One of you to speak.
First-
What
I guess,
happened next?
I guess I'll start first. So, yeah, we met Jacob at the basic training, and we decided to become real estate investors. Oh man, what a it was! It was been a fantastic journey for the short period of time we were doing it, and then we realized that after door knocking on people, going through pre-foreclosure and going through all the trenches to try to find some deals, we noticed another need that people had when that was credit repair. We noticed that they were going through a rough time and that eventually they were going to want to buy a house again and that they could utilize some sort of service on the credit aspect. And then we hit the ground running on that. And if I do remember correctly, I talked to Jacob not long after we decided to change paths, and he said, you need to drop that shit like a bad habit and get back into real estate. And then here we are. So
Yeah, it's all about staying somewhat focused, but you're right, there is a need for credit repair. And the reason why, and we're going to just call you out, the reason why you needed credit repair was why?
well, we purchased everything in personal credit and then took a tank. And
Oh, hold on, you're still attached to my car. I can't hear anything.
So
This thing's still on. You
realize
done? I
it.
can't hear anything.
I'll wait.
Oh, stupid. There you are. Sorry about it. So you were saying?
So what was your question again? Just to
How
make
did
sure.
you guys, what made you think about credit repair?
Multiple
From a
things.
personal
standpoint, after we paid for some things to get some companies going, it was all in our personal name, and personal credit took a lack of a better word, took a shit. So we realized there was a need for that as well. So we try to educate people on how to correctly invest in a company and do it the right way without shooting yourself in the foot with your personal finances. That was one aspect.
So, like most people, when they start a business, their seed capital typically comes from their own funds, their checking, their savings, and in some of our cases, our credit. So, putting things like for me, I put down 40 grand from a combination of credit cards and a personal loan. And you guys had a similar story, didn't you?
That's correct.
How much were you in debt at that point?
It was 30 each, or like 30 something each.
Yeah, about total 60 grand.
Yeah.
Grand, yeah. And now the credit card bills are coming due. You're having a hard time getting everything to work out because now you're over leveraged. So you had to learn how to.
Right.
That's correct.
You take lemons and make lemonade, right?
We damn sure did that. And it's delicious.
Opportunity, right?
Yeah, and actually, not only now, I mean, we're doing personal credit. That's kind of where it started, right? But we're also venturing into our business credit packages now and getting funding for companies, startup capital, working capital, things like that too. So it's all branching out and exploding. So it's working out pretty well.
Educate people that are looking to build a company to do it the correct way and try to learn from our mistakes and get them on the right track to ensure that they keep everything within their business and not interrupt their personal finances in whenever they go to startup. It's the biggest hurdle ever because so go ahead.
Sounds all fancy and great and wonderful, but also what? Business credit? What the F is business credit? Tell us about that.
What do you want to know?
So basically, when you have your personal credit, it's tied to your social, right? So they pull your credit, put your social in, to check your scores. Well, whenever you have a business, you have an EIN, right? So business credit is credit that's tied to that EIN like a social, right? So if you do it right, you should be able to get funds and credit in your business without ever having to affect your social or your personal credit.
You're saying that there's a way to get into doing this correctly without having to screw up your own personal life?
Yep, that's correct.
Exactly.
How the hell do we do that, boys?
So you got you got to start, You have to get a DUNS number, Dun and Bradstreet. There's some actual like business credits, like Experian and things like that, to check your business credit. You have to get everything registered. You have to make sure everything looks the same, like your addresses, and you have to make sure you're on 411. A bunch of these other steps have to be put in play to be fundable, I guess. And once you do that and you get everything squared away, then you can start applying for things to build that credit. Same way that you would build personal. You have to start with some low-level stuff like vendor cards or maybe like some store cards and things like that. And then you build that up to where you can start getting like cash credit, like business Amex, business Chase, things like that. But in a business, what it would take personally to do over years, you can do in months. Like you could literally go from zero to getting all these loans and credit in a business in 6 months if you do it right. So it's a lot faster to build that up, and you can get a lot more money and a lot higher limits on your credit.
Yeah, the scale is so much more. So what's so beneficial about business credit on multiple aspects? One of them is being, if you get on the personal level and you have great credit and you get approved for a credit card at $10,000 right out the gate, if you apply for a similar card with your business that's been established, you could get $50,000 to $100,000 on a credit card, which is, I don't know about some of you guys, but if you're doing real estate, that would be one hell of a remodel on a credit card. So
wait a minute. I love that you just used a real estate term to actually talk about credit. That was actually baller, yo.
Thanks, man.
I'm butch today. I can say that stuff. So, so you can remodel your credit.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's back up before you get too far ahead of us, smarty pants. How the hell, what you said, Dun and Bradstreet, what is that meaning? I don't know what that's talking about.
So a Duns and Bradstreet number is another. So basically, you have Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian for personal credit. Everybody knows you have the big three, and there's a couple others, but we won't talk about those today. And on the business aspect, you have Duns and Bradstreet, Equifax Business, and Experian Business. And Duns and Bradstreet is probably one of the biggest, or is probably the biggest on the company side as far as credit reporting goes for a business. So in order, you don't get, whenever you get your EIN number, you don't get a Duns and Bradstreet number. You have to go and apply for one. It's free. So as soon as you get your EIN number, the first step you would do to build business credit is to go to dunsandbradstreet.com and get a Duns number. So that way you can start applying for certain tier credit cards with your company. Some of the companies or some of the creditors you apply with will require a Duns number. So that's what the Duns number is. It's more of like an identification number for the credit reporting side for Duns and Bradstreet. That sounded like a very long answer for a question.
And honestly, starting off, some of them may require what's called a PG, or a personal guarantee. That is where you are personally guaranteeing it with your social to start, because you don't have anything in the business that's really can back anything up. And that's okay if you do that from the beginning. But the goal is to actually separate it so that it's completely only in your business.
So go ahead, John.
So it may benefit you to fix personal credit and at the same time you're building business credit, because it might be easier to build it. It'd be faster. But really the big three that you need, and you need at least one of these three. You either need good credit, either have to have capital coming into your business, or you have to have collateral. So, you have to have one of those three to really be fundable. So even if you don't have good credit, but your business is making a lot of money, you have capital. Or if you have a lot of, assets, then you have collateral. So you don't necessarily need good personal credit, but you can, some they require you to guarantee it with something. So
you can leverage one of the three if you're faltering on. So, for instance, on the personal side for us, we applied the first business credit card we ever got was Office Depot. And it required a personal guarantee. So we also found out that Office Depot reports to all three of the business reporting agencies, which is Equifax, Experian, and Duns and Bradstreet. So the way that that works to get a score with a business is you have to make payments. You can't just have the card. You know, it's just similar to a credit card. When you have a personal name, you got to use it. You don't get anything for it. But it's not on a scale of 850. It's, you know, it's similar, a different scale as far as the scoring process goes. So, but anyway, what I was getting at was the first one we applied for, we had to put a personal guarantee on, and then the next two that we applied for, one that we have gotten did not require that. Didn't even require my social or anything, which was a huge step, because now we have our very first ever credit card that is not in our personal name. It's in our 100% in our business. So it's a game changer. That's for
So let's talk
certain.
about that. So and that took how long?
So for a month, like the first month there's different tiers of cards you can apply for. And tier 1 being the lowest on the totem pole is very simple to get approved for. They don't require a lot. It's very minimalistic. And then it can be a month to 2 month process to get them. You need to get a minimum of 3 reporting payments across the board to all 3. So, or I'm sorry, I mean, you need to have 3 reporting payments, and that could be a combined total of all 3 bureaus or per bureau. It depends. So let's, for instance, what I mean by that is Office Depot reports to all 3 of the business reporting agencies. So that's 3 payments. You get 1 for Duns & Bradstreet, 1 for Experian, and 1 for Equifax. So now you're building across the board, and you look a little bit better to the next person you apply to. So it's it's a wormhole. So we could go on and on forever. So if you get bored, just let me know. I can stop.
This is actually interesting, because I think most people, they've got questions. First of all, credit and money are 2 things people find very taboo to talk about. But they're things we all need to know and we all have questions about. No one wakes up from like 3rd grade and knows what to do with money or credit. They don't know it. It's always around them, and they kind of just have to figure it out, and they struggle. And because it's a taboo topic, no one ever learns about it. They're scared to ask questions. And I want people, guys, please, if you're here or you're on Facebook, in the chat box, whatever, go ahead and ask questions. Let's go ahead and like debunk some of these myths. Like, for example, one of the big myths is that you have to have good credit to get into business. But what these guys are telling you is that if you're able to start a business and get that credit, that can build your personal credit. Is that correct?
That
Can't
depends.
your personal. Well,
So,
you won't need it.
oh, go ahead, Jonathan. I'll let you go ahead.
Oh, sorry. If you can build a business and bring in money and build up your business credit, then you don't need personal credit. I mean, you need it for your personal stuff, but you won't need it for your business. So that being said.
So they're 2 totally different entities. So you don't get business credit to build personal. You don't get personal to build business. However, the caveat to that last thing I just said is you can use your personal to help build your business, but that's only for the beginning. If you have to put a personal guarantee on certain cards you apply for with your business. Eventually, you want to get away from that altogether. So that way you have your personal stuff here and your business over here, and you never want them to be intermixed, because
It's its own entity, some person.
If your business goes bankrupt and it's tied into your personal, guess what happens? Everything goes bankrupt. But if it's just your business and you have your personal over here and your business goes bankrupt, it's just your business, your personal is just fine. So that's why you have to keep them separate, and you do not want them to be interchanged with each other.
So when you are, so when you build your business credit, which apparently builds faster, right? Why does it build faster than personal credit?
Well, I'll let you
It's
go.
easier. The approval rates are easier, and you can get, so if you were to go and try to apply for like 5 vendor cards right now personally, or store credit cards, right? You might get approved for a few of them, and then let's say you use them for a couple months, and let's say you went to go and try to apply for like 4 or 5 other cards. Eventually they're going to tell you like you're applying for too much. You know, you have too much new credit, you have too many inquiries, you're over leveraging yourself, something along those lines. You're not going to be able to get approved for that many cards at that fast of a rate on the personal level. They will deny you, right? Because they won't see, they're going to see that you're having all this credit, and you're going to end up using it, and then you're not going to be able to pay for it, right? That's not true with business. With business, they only look at your payments, right? It's all based on payments. It's not based on how much stuff are you applying for? What are you over leveraging yourself? They don't look at all those factors. Business credit, the major thing is, are you making your payments on time, right? So if you're making your payments on time and you have this credit and you apply for more, yeah, we'll give it to you. Here's some more credit, right? You make those payments on time. All right, cool. We'll give you some more credit. That's why there's tiers, right? So the easy stuff to get approved for, you start with that. You make your on-time payments. Then the ones that are a little bit harder to get approved for, they look and see, okay, you've made these payments on time. You've done pretty well. Let's give you a shot here, right? So then you kind of have like the lower and the mid tier cards, and you're making payments on time for those, and you have enough of that registered on your monitoring. Then whenever you go to apply for the higher tier, they look at it and say, okay, you've done all this very well. Let's give you a shot here, right? And then they give you like the cash cards and stuff like that. But you basically have to prove yourself by making on-time payments, and that's why that's easier to do. And also with a business, they look at the ability of that to make money and to be able to utilize the credit and pay it off a lot easier than you would personally. So that has a lot to do with why it's a lot easier to do business versus personal.
And so you think the first thing to do is you'll get a business credit card for what? We got to register first with DMB, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. So like gas card, store cards, like we said, our first one was Office Depot.
Yep.
Things like that. Don't go and apply for any kind of like cash credit line like a Chase or something like that.
To the top, you're not gonna get it. They're just gonna be like, oh, sorry, can't approve you. So, like you said, Office Depot. The next one we did was Crown Office Supplies, and then I went after Wex, which is a gas card. So Wex has Murphy, 76, and a bunch of different gas stations underneath them, and we applied for one of those. Those are tier 1 cards. So that was the first run out of the gate for us. And then once we get established with those, after a month or two, then we'll go after the next tier, which I haven't looked into that too much yet, because we're still in the building phase of our business credit. So we are currently in tier 1, and we're working our way through to get to tier 2.
So how is it helping you guys with your real estate investment strategies? Knowing that you have, because we've talked about this with some of my other friends before, not on the show, but they were talking about different things. Like if you have missed payments or you don't have a very good history with your business right away, then go ahead, scrap it, start completely over, get a new EIN and try again, which actually made sense. But how are you guys using your knowledge that you now gained through business credit to build your actual business?
So if you have a strong business credit, right, you can do one of two things, right? So you can either fund a remodel on a credit line. You could do that. That's one option. Let's say if you have a $100,000 credit card, you could fund it that way yourself. Or if you have a good business credit score, that also makes you look good to lenders who lend to a business, and you can get a loan in just your business name as opposed to having to personally guarantee it with your personal credit.
Or get hard money.
Right. So that's why, talking about like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and all these lenders and stuff, that's kind of why we came in and made it a business, right? Because we make it all available to you guys and say, hey, here's what's in tier 1, here's what's in tier 2, here's what's in tier 3, here's all this stuff. So it's like, it's there, and that way you don't have to think about it really. And you know what you need to do.
The biggest benefit would be because if, hard money lenders sometimes, depending on where you are in business, they won't lend to you unless you have a good deal or you have a great personal credit file, right? And then there's other factors that play into those, but I think those would be the biggest two. Would you agree, Jacob?
I would think so.
So sometimes the terms are outrageous and sometimes they're not too bad. Depends on who the lender is. And if you work with them before, or if you have not worked with them before and it's the first time out of the gate, they're going to give you some pretty tough terms. But if you do everything with your business and you've already built it up and you have everything set and ready to go, you can get some really good terms with the bank that you're with or or any other big bank, because your business is established and they see everything's flawless, and they'll give you phenomenal terms where you can do an entire rehab and purchase of a home in a better time frame than you would have to do with hard money. So that's one aspect of it. It just gives you more. It gives you more options to potentially make more money at the end of the game.
So what is so just so this might make sense to some people if you're just getting into the game. Like I know some of the people in this are a little newer. When you get an EIN, when you establish your business, you're either an S corp, a C corp, an LLC, whatever you're doing. You get assigned an employee identification number. That's called an EIN. So in the eyes of the IRS, that is an individual. A corporation is a person. It's an individual, right? It's taxed differently because it's an individual, but it's made of a super brain of more than one person if you're doing it correctly, right? It could be your brain and your dog, who cares? But according to your bylaws, it's more than one person unless you're an S corp. So regardless, now you have this EIN that's attached to your company. This person, which is your company, now can build credit just like you can. Commercial credit is different because it's not a real person. It's just a person in the eyes of the IRS. Commercial loans are different and easier to access because it's based on the cash flow of the asset you're buying. The same way they're looking at the credit that you're looking to acquire through your business, because it's about the cash flow from your business, which is reflected in your payments. That's what they're talking about with the tier 1 credit cards, which is a great way of doing it. So for example, Carlos, yes, that's right. You're going to be participating right now. So unmute yourself, little bitch. Now, welcome to the show, Carlos. Are you enjoying it so far?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. So Carlos, for du jour, that's just funny to me. And Jonathan, Dustyn and Jonathan, Carlos is a dancer. Like I was as well, and still am, unless my back hurts that day, in which case I'm nothing. But most dancers know nothing about credit. They have no idea. In fact, the way most of them actually start their studios is by selling a ton of lessons to little old ladies, and that's how they have to pay them off for the next million years, by teaching them for free. Does that sound about right, Carlos? For most individuals?
Somewhat, yeah, somewhat.
Don't you somewhat. I've been in the industry. You know, but don't somewhat me. I know I'm right.
No, but I didn't start my business like that, but yeah.
I wasn't saying you.
I've heard that.
Be polite.
Yeah.
Give you the benefit of the doubt. But most dancers don't know anything about credit. Would you agree to that?
Yes.
So when you were starting your business, if you knew that you could create business credit, would you have done that from the get-go?
Yes.
There you go.
And that's a question that I have. I mean, I think maybe I missed it because when I first started, I had to use my personal, and I'm trying to get my name off, because it's I have credit that's my business and personal, so I want to try to get my name out off of that. And I think you guys might have mentioned this, and I think I overlooked it, but how to apply for just the business credit.
So whenever you go to apply for something, whatever it could be, let's say you want to do an expansion on your studio or whatever the case is, whenever you apply strictly through your business, and you do not put down your social security number. It's strictly going to be your EIN or your Duns and Bradstreet, or both. Sometimes they will require both. So that would be that's the only time you'll ever get caught in a personal guarantee, is if they are requesting your social, and it will state somewhere in the contract or the documentation that you're filling out, you're putting your social security number, and you're personally guaranteeing that this loan or whatever this will be personally paid back, and you're guaranteeing that. So whenever you apply for a credit card or anything moving forward, just don't put down that information and input the EIN number in that location. And 9 times out of 10, it will take it and see it as a business, because it's going to be on the business aspect.
So you can put the LLC or the S corp as the name.
Yes, that's correct. And if you run into an issue, so I have ran into this online where it says that that's not an actual SSN number. So call them. At that point, if you're having trouble applying online or something along those lines where it's saying this is not a social security number, call whoever it is you're applying through and say, hey, I'm applying for this through my company and I'm having an issue and I'm not personally guaranteeing anything because my company is established, and then go into it from there. And then they should be able to process everything over the phone and then not have you as a personal guarantor.
And you can use that also for like investments in like real estate investment.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct. As long as you have your business established and you're at the upper tier level to where you can get approved for pretty much anything that you want.
And also, one thing to look at is, since you are established, if you're looking to get a lot of the debt out of your name, I'm assuming you have cash flow in the business at this point. And I'm assuming you also have collateral because you have a studio or, whatever, right? So you have 2 of the 3. So even if the debt is causing your personal credit to not be so good, you have 2 of the other 3 things, right? So you could actually get a lender who lends on cash flow or collateral, like an asset-based lending or cash flow-based lending, and you can get that debt out of your name and into the business name. And then that in turn would probably would raise your personal credit, right? And so then you would have all 3 essentially. And then as you're building your business credit, future, loans or credit applications could go through the business as you're building. So
where Jonathan was going with that is once you get the funding for whatever, you can pay off whatever you have in your personal name and the business. So that way, whatever you have that you have on under your name or you have personally guaranteed, you can pay that off with the loan you get, and now everything's in the business, and now you're out of it completely. So the business is self-contained in itself. That's one of the that I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Kind of interesting, isn't it? So what they were really just telling you is this is a way to help eradicate your own personal debt, but you have to build your business to do it.
Right.
So it's like, where are you right now? How do you improve your situation? So how long did it take you guys to start building up your business credit? You said a second ago, but I want to reiterate.
So we
started with Office Depot, then you got your gas card from, whatever Shell station you were at, and then you kept going.
So we really only been doing it, a couple months, 2-3 months, but we're already going into tier 2.
I think we've had for about 4 months now, give or take. So
for Stonewood, yeah. For the other one, not as long.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So we're building both. We're building our credit repair.
What toxic sludge are you drinking over there?
Me? It's Monster.
What? Are you like 14? What the hell are you doing?
I'm trying to wake the inner beast.
That is just, what's wrong with you? You're an adult. Listen, at this point in your life, you should be drinking coffee, Starbucks, if you have to, some sort of like Celsius or vodka. Stop trying this whole like Monster. What is wrong with you?
What if I put vodka in the Monster?
Well, then put it in a better glass. I don't want to see that can. It brings out the jaundice in your cheeks. It's not going to help you. Anyway, so enough of your poor life choices. Go back to what you're saying. That was actually relevant.
I don't remember what I was saying anymore after the Monster came out.
It was something about you're still building you're going from tier 1 to tier 2. So talk about the tiers. What the hell does that mean?
So the tiers. So tier 3 is lower level. It's very simple. Usually the cards you get or you can only use at that location is typically what that means. So the tier 3, the lowest tier on the totem pole is going to be
tier 1 is the lowest.
Simplistic. You're not going to be able to use it for very much except for the store you get approved at. Tier 2, you start branching out to bigger stores, bigger retail stores that have a little bit more to offer. And then tier 1, is going to be where you get the American Express cards, where you get the unsecured credit cards, where you get the unsecured loans, where you can get pretty much everything after you go through all 3 tiers is at your disposal that you can use and leverage to expand, get more collateral, purchase up, like if real estate, buy homes, flip homes, and everything's being funded through your business, and you don't have to worry about personal stuff. So the goal is to get to tier 1. But I think I said it backwards. It's usually 1, 2, 3, but it's like 3, 2, 1. I just said it 3, 2, 1 because you know. So you want to get to the first spot on the list, and it's where you want to go to. So sorry. It's exciting. I get excited when I talk about this stuff. I love it. So it's
Yes. At some point in time, you became a father and a geek. Oh, by the way, so yeah, Dustyn and his beautiful wife, Cameron, where's she? Is she there?
she's on the phone with somebody right now, but yeah, she's
Well, she's the smart one. I usually go to her. And before I brought Nelson into the fold, she was the one that was my go-to REI Black Book guru. And now I have my resident Asian who knows so much more than I ever will. So we love him. He's just hiding right now, probably because he's either eating or is crying profusely over low self-esteem issues. Right, Nelson? Yeah? Is that it? No? He says he's eating, bitch. It's not surprising. He's a personal trainer. You know, they have to run on carbs.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, so we talked about the 3 different tiers that you actually get as you start improving your business credit. As your business grows, the amount of time that goes with it is much easier. So the first thing you got to do is get your business. So you have to get an EIN. Then you register with your DUNS number. Once you get all that set up, you can actually get your first tier credit cards through pretty much their supplies, right? They're like things you need for everyday business, like your gas, your office supplies. It could even be things like Lowe's for hardware and things like for real estate.
So for Lowe's and Home Depot, that's going to be tier 2.
Really? I didn't
Yes,
have that. Okay, sure. You think so?
I found that out the hard way. So,
Okay.
yeah, this is gonna mainly be for office supplies. And there is, like I said, there's a gas card in the first tier. So you can get a gas card, which you could use to fuel your car going to look at houses and things of that nature. And use it. I mean, you can use this stuff for personal too, right? If you don't drive a whole lot and you have a gas card with your company and you're like, what the hell am I gonna do with this crap? Like, I don't go anywhere. Use it when you go fill up to go get something to eat and just pay it off on your own. You know, they don't need to know where the money's coming from and who's paying for stuff. As long as you're making the payment and building up your business credit, that's all that matters. So for instance, that's what we're going to end up doing because we don't have to drive a whole lot with our credit repair company. We're going to get our gas card and then I'm just going to use it whenever I want to go visit my family. I'm just going to fill my truck up and pay it out of my personal pocket. It's the same difference. It doesn't matter where the money's coming from as long as it's getting paid. It'd be nice if it was getting paid from the company, but if you don't have to drive anywhere, just pay for it on your own. It's that simple. And then you're building the payment history and you can move up to the next tier even faster.
You said something.
I'm sorry. So the highest tier is number 3, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So I did say it backwards. So tier 1 is lower, and then tier 2, and then tier 3 is where the American Express and things of that nature would be. Sorry about that.
I'm putting something together in my head. I'm trying to figure out how to word it without having some of these people. The private messages in these conversations are always entertaining. I'm trying not to pay attention to them. Derek,
is there a test somewhere where I'm missing something? I mean,
you're not missing anything. Don't even worry about it. But it's about how to structure your business credit. Oh, what was it? Oh, so for example, for those of you who are doing, I'm not reading that. I will not read your comment until I'm done with this statement.
Oh God.
I'm not doing it. Damn it. So say you're doing your bird dog accelerator that we there and get people to advertise for you by putting magnets on their cars or looking at properties, things like that. Well, here's an idea. You get your gas card. Guess what? It has a limit on it. You now pay for people's gas on your gas card, which builds your business credit. Because is it not a business expense? Yes, right. It is. It's a business expense. It's advertising and marketing for your business. So you use the gas card to do that. You now give an allotment to like 10, high school students who are driving around with their parents' old car or, in Boca, their hand-me-down BMWs. And you actually put your sticker, your magnet on them, and they're driving around town saying, we buy houses, or, this is a realtor. For a good time, call Nelson. And therefore, they're driving around, and that's your business, right? This credit card is what's going to help you get that accomplished. So I'm not reading this. I'm not reading it. So that's another way of actually using it if you're not driving anywhere, but how to expand it and get things moving even faster. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes, that's
kind of interesting, right?
yeah, exactly. Just get creative with it, especially whenever you have things that are specific to something. Get creative on how to use it. If you need paper, if you have kids and you don't need office supplies, but you want to get your kids some markers, some crayons, go buy it on the
School supplies.
School supplies. Another thing. I mean, that's kind of what we're having to do on our side, because there's not much that we really need, but we're like, hey, could your mom use a new set of pens? She's like, oh yeah, fuck it, let's buy 50 of them. Like, I mean, oh, sorry about my language. You
there you go.
don't have to worry about anything. So
I have not said the F word yet. I will.
it's me.
I'm sure.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of like for instance, like for Office Depot, whenever it was the first one we got, right? So, like I was saying before, we're working on building our real estate company credit, and we're working on building our credit repair company credit. So we're tackling two. And what is going on over there? It seems like there's I feel like there's a lot more fun conversation going on Jacob's side than I'm seeing. So.
It's always horrible. You never want to hear what they're saying. And there was I hate you so much right now, Derek. I hate you so much.
Nelson and Derek love to distract Jacob. It's a gift. He falls for it every time.
I don't look at it. I just try. It's not because of the bombers. No, I'm not doing it.
Oh gosh.
Nelson, you're a whore. Derek, you're no better. Anyway, so hopefully that wasn't recording. So back to we're talking about business credit. How do you know this stuff? So when you're looking at business credit, what tier are like travel cards on, like things like hotels and airlines?
Tier 3. That's gonna be the top.
Tier 3. So that's your top, right?
That's correct.
Makes sense.
Because most of those are going to be unsecured, and they're going to be like your Visas and MasterCards you can use anywhere. So those are going to be tier 3.
So something else you guys should notice. How many of you guys have ever heard of someone called Dave Ramsey?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Have no debt, cut off all your credit cards, save, and then buy only what you need. Great. Now, for those of you who don't know, if you don't take the time to learn about credit, Dave Ramsey is wonderful to work with. I think he's brilliant with what he does for the common American or consumer. Teaching people how to not get hurt is better than like taking your credit. And your credit's a tool, right? If you don't learn how to use it, you'll cut off your hand. Or that same tool could build an empire. Depends on what you're willing to put the work into. His idea I don't like because it promotes a sense of fear and lack of control over your credit and what you can create. Now, that being said, most people are stupid, and therefore they don't take the time to educate themselves on how to use such important things like your credit. Dave Ramsey is really great at helping you at least stay out of trouble, but he doesn't help you build wealth, okay? Right. But has some really strong foundational principles I do really respect. I want to be very clear, I do respect what he says. Now, this is the thing I want everybody else to understand. Do you really think Dave Ramsey does not have credit cards? This is a trick question. Do you think Dave Ramsey has credit cards, yes or no?
That dude's got the American Express Centurion card. He's probably the only one he needs.
It's like, that's the one card you like, all you gotta do is like pick your blood. You get approved and it's good forever, right? So, but I will guarantee you, I don't think he's a hypocrite. I actually don't think he has any personal credit cards.
Right.
Ah.
He probably has a Centurion business.
Exactly. Which is amazing. Like that you could buy a skyscraper with if you get the right limit. So it's amazing what you can do if you know how to work credit. So what was that?
You're very ready to pay it off in a month.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, and done, swipe. So once you know that you have this what?
That's a charge card. You got to pay that thing off in 30 days.
So let's talk about the difference between a charge card and a credit card, because I don't think most people understand that. So, Jonathan, what's the difference between a charge card and a credit card?
So whenever you have a regular credit card, let's say your limit's $500 and you spend $100, right? You'll have like a minimum payment, right? It'll say like your payment's $20, right? That's a typical credit card. You don't have to pay the full $100 back, right? You just have like a percentage of it that you're responsible for that month. A charge card, if you charge $100, you have to pay that $100 by the end of the month. It's a full payback. You don't have a minimum payment. So if you will go and run up $1,000 on a charge card, that's your payment for the month. You have to pay it all back.
Or
well, it's not. Well, actually, some of the Amexes now that are charge cards, they do allow payments on big purchases, but for the most part, you have to pay it back, or you're in default.
Yep. That's what I was going for. You're in trouble. So good to know. So where we are, I want to make sure I don't take too much of your time. Okay. So we have our charge cards, we have our credit cards. We learned about the 3 different tiers of business credit. We've learned about the fact that you can take some of your seed capital that you have as a personal guarantee when you start your business, you can actually roll it over into your business credit once you establish it by paying yourself back, getting yourself out of the business debt and putting the business debt into the business itself. What questions do you guys have?
Dun, dun.
Crickets.
We blew their minds.
So how many businesses can you have with credit? As many as you want.
That's correct. It's gonna be
that sounds fun.
Be a process, but you can build as many businesses as you want as long as they have a revenue coming in. You can prove it. That's all. It's free game. Or if you're really good at faking invoices, I mean that'll work too.
We didn't hear that. We did not hear that.
You do have to have a bank account. Like that's one of the things that we've noticed on a couple. You have to have a bank account. So, and that goes on personal too.
And the interest rate, I'm sorry, and the interest rate on those cards is how much?
It was going to vary between each lender.
Okay.
So there's one that we were looking to get that had a promotion for 0% for 12 months, and that was a business card. And then I think that one went up. Jonathan, what was that independent financial? It went up to what, 18 to 22?
Yeah, it was a range. Yeah, 18 to 22, somewhere around there.
It depends. So some of them might be lower. Some of them have special promotions. Which, if you look into, Carlos, if you're looking to transfer something, my recommendation is I hate paying interest. I hate it. I loathe it with it's a passion of mine. I hate it. So if you can apply for, as long as it sounds like everything's established on your side, do research on business credit cards that have special promotions for 0% interest and balance transfers. So what that'll do is that'll allow you to get the card in your business name, transfer the balance from your card that has it in your personal or whatever. And then you have a 0% interest for 6 months, 12 months, 18, and just depends on the promotion for the card. So that way you're kind of beat it back without having to worry about paying an immense amount of interest whenever the payment comes in, because that could really hit payment a lot.
So you just research business credit cards.
That's correct.
Okay.
Are terms like that negotiable, or is it take it or leave it?
It's going to be, so as far as what is it, promotions?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, as far as getting rates on cards, promotions or otherwise.
So the rate's going to be based on your business score. And then the promotion is going to be whatever special they have going on upon sign up or during the longevity of having the card. There's really nothing you can leverage to change the outcome of the promotions. It's just going to be whatever they have going on at that time.
So do they look at your personal business score for your personal business score for your business?
Yeah. So usually ranges, so business credit is usually from 0 to 100, so wherever you are on that scale. That's just like whenever you're applying for, let's say you apply for a Discover card, right? And let's say whenever you look at before you apply, it says like what the range of interest rates are, that document. So let's say it goes from like 18 to 24, right? That's the range that they lend on. So maybe if the credit they accept is from 680 to 750, right? If you're closer to that 750, you might get closer to that 18%, right? But if you're at like the 690, you might get closer to like the 24%, you know, or something. Like you're going to get somewhere in that range. Same thing for business. You know, they look at where are you at as far as your score, how established are you, and then, you know, you can get approved for something in that range. They're the same thing.
I'm sorry. So they look at your business history?
That's
yeah.
Okay.
Which comprises your score, basically.
Right.
Okay.
So the more established history you have and the more positivity you have under your portfolio is going to determine what you get as far as the amount and the interest rate. The promotion, that's not gonna be based on your business. That's just gonna be whatever special they have at that time.
Right.
So if you already if you already have business credit cards, call them. See if they have a promotion. Sometimes it's very similar to a personal thing. Like you can call your cards and say, hey, do you guys have any special promotions going on? And they'll say either yes or no. And if they say yes, ask which ones they have. If they have purchases, use it. If they have balance transfers, use it. I mean, go ahead and activate them.
Are you finding that they're doing different things right now because of COVID?
Yeah, they have been. I have been told, I haven't seen this personally, that credit card companies are limiting for personal, this isn't business, that they're limiting the amount of 0% interest and balance transfers or promotions they're giving out because people are trying to pay their bills. But I have not actually had a chance to fact check that yet. So the cards that I have personally that I've called, I have had no issues. But I've been told from somebody else that was doing a similar thing, they were having a problem. But
they've been, I was funny, I got a couple of cards that reduced my credit line. Yeah. Because of COVID, and I paid somebody off, and because I wasn't using them because we weren't going out doing anything. Right. If you don't use your cards, by the way, they don't do you any good. You have to use your credit cards in order to keep them active. So if you have a credit card, and credit 101, if you have a credit card, you have a credit limit. Your debt to credit limit is one of the factors that gives you a credit score. It's called your debt to credit ratio. So you want to keep it ideally under 30%, 20 is even better. But regardless, it has to have activity on it. So if you're going to go out and you've got like a basic card that, you know, go out and buy your groceries on it and then go there at the end of the month and pay it off. That's fine. If you're going to buy it anyway, that at least keeps the card active. And you can, if you don't do it before the billing cycle, you're not going to pay any interest, which is totally cool. Now, that being said, the same thing happens with businesses as well. We'll talk about that later. But as long as you're able to get your credit usage under control, as long as you use it, it's going to stay open. Now, a couple of these cards I hadn't used because I have quite a few credit cards that I am always juggling, and I kind of cycle them through my wallet, and I have to call and say, okay, which one's doing what? Oh, this is doing a gas promotion. This is doing a grocery. This one's doing online purchases or airlines. So I got to know what's going on. I still haven't mastered enjoying that factor yet, but anyway, they reduced some of my credit lines, which reduced my credit availability. Now, why is that a bad thing? Because if my credit availability is here, my debt is here, when they reduce my credit availability, it goes down to here, which means that my ratio has now gone greater. So it makes it look like my credit score now drops. So I had to call and say, hey, listen up. What's up, dude? I didn't actually ask you to do this. You need to, why have I been a bad boy? Like, why are you taking my credit away? And they actually like, oh, we just haven't used the card. I'm like, well, I'm actually going to make a large purchase for my business here shortly. And I would like to, you know, use you guys, or I can use your competitors. Which would you prefer? They gave our credit back. Mm-hmm. So the other thing that's interesting is people are just chicken when it comes to credit. They're scared to actually do something about it. They're like, they will, okay, here, Carlos, have you ever gotten a letter in the mail saying, hey, Carlos, thank you so much for being a valuable customer here at Bark Street Visa. You are such a valuable customer. We just increased your $15,000 credit line to $16,000. Congratulations, it's now available immediately. Mm-hmm. Ever got anything like that?
I think so. Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Why did they do that?
Well, they think that you're not going to read, and then you're just going to accept something because usually your own credit card companies don't do that, so you have to reach out to them. So, this is just
I'm listening.
So I think they're just trying for you to like jump on their program, or with somebody like that, I feel like it's shady. So I probably wouldn't follow up. That's me, unless I know the company.
So Citi Card does that to me like all the time.
Really?
I have.
You currently have the
I
card.
think I've got 3 Citi cards.
I have Citi. I had Citi cards.
Yeah, they like to do that too. They like to, which is cool. Thanks, Citi, but I don't like to use them. But anyway, why do you think they choose such an arbitrary low number of incremental increases that you don't ask for? They just give you. Why do you think they do that?
I got an idea.
Go, Josh. Why?
Because when they increase your credit line, they can monetize that to bring money into themselves. And so if you've been good and your credit's good, they'll up your limit because it ups their monetization ability.
And there, yeah. So this is what I did. Anytime I got those cards, those letters, what do you think I did?
Hopefully, I called them to lower it.
You think I called them, tell them to lower my available credit?
Hopefully you did
Max
not.
them out.
Say it again.
No,
Max
you
them out.
Yeah, hopefully you didn't do that.
I would not do that. What I did, I called them like, oh, thank you so much. I see you think I'm worthy of a credit limit increase. Tell me, was that the maximum you could offer me, or can I get more?
You want to know why they only gave you that much?
They wanted my business. Why do you think it is? Well, tell me what you've discovered.
So whenever you can test this, and this is what's going to happen. So choose any card you have, and you go in there and and then request a limit increase. They're going to give you $1,000, but they're not going to pull your credit.
Soft.
That's why they give you that amount, because they can't unless they have consent from you to increase your limit exponentially. They can give you free money without pulling your report. And they do a risk assessment, and then they say, okay, we'll give them an extra $1,000, or they give you extra $2,000. That's why the increments are so low, because that's what they can give you without pulling your report. Exactly. So if they did a hard pull without your consent, that's a lawsuit. So they can't do that. So whenever you call and say, hey, how much can you give me? They're going to do a hard pull, and they're going to give you $10,000. So that's the reason why the increments are so low. So if you go onto your Citi account and request a balance increase, they'll probably say, hey, we immediately approved you for an extra $2,000, an extra $3,000, didn't even pull your credit. Okay, cool. So, and if you're in my situation where your credit's shit and you don't want them to pull it, so I'll be like, hey, I'll take that $2,000. Cool. And you're not gonna pull my credit? All right, sweet. It's cool. That's excellent. So whenever you're going for bigger increases like 5,000 to 10,000 or more, they're gonna pull your credit, and then that's gonna be a hard pull, and that's gonna be a harder, unless everything's perfect, it's gonna be hard for you to get approved for.
But let's be clear about hard pulls, because I feel people get scared of that. All right, so let's be very clear about this. If you know how to play the game, it becomes a game. So when I get those letters from Citi, which I do, I call them. I say, all right, so you just gave me this credit limit increase. Do you think I see you're trying to give me money? How much can you give me? They're like, well, sir, this is what you're pre-approved for, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, that's great. Well, I'd like to increase my credit limit. Well, how much do you want to increase it, sir? $10,000. Oh, well, that's going to require a hard pull, sir. I'm like, that's fine. Go ahead and pull it. They've already said it's probably okay. So every time I do it, I always usually ask to double my credit limit until that doubling makes it over 25 grand. There's something about 25,000 where it becomes a little trickier. So until that credit limit is not 25,000, I just want credit limit. So I went from having, when I first started playing with my credit, I had 3 credit cards that had a total of, between all 3, I had $11,000 in available credit. That was in October of 2016. By February of 2017, I had $99,000 of available credit, and I had, I think, over 7 credit cards. I just kept doubling them, and I kept getting more offers and kept things going. Now, that was cool. I got really good at raising my credit limits. I still had no idea how to use them properly. Shit. But I pay my lickings. I keep on going. But I was able to do it. I still do the basic strategy. I call, ask to double my credit limit. They usually pull it. They'll either say yes or no. They usually say yes or, well, we can't do that, but we can do this, which is always more than they originally offered me.
Right.
And a hard pull on your credit is really only like 2 points. And it only stays on for like a month. Because then the next month you make your payment, and then month after you make another payment, and now it shows consistent history, and you've got a higher debt to credit ratio, so your credit score jumps up higher than it was. Now, something else I did, which I don't necessarily recommend, but I did this, is I called multiple cards on the same day. And I did it on the weekend. So therefore, on a Saturday or Friday afternoon, Friday evening, because they're not going to report it until Monday. So I had my high credit score, had all these increases in my credit. So then on Monday, it would all report and it would tank. But I had just gotten like $15,000 extra credit. So I would let it cycle through a couple of cycles, and then suddenly my credit score jumped up even higher, because I knew I was playing with it, and I knew I was trying to see what this credit game was worth. It's just something, it's actually a lot of fun to do if you know how to do it and you want a script. If you want a script on how to do this, I actually have one for personal credit. I can go ahead and email it to you guys, send me a message, send me a private message, and I will go ahead and send it over. It's really, really cool. It's a lot of fun, but do not do it if you're not gonna stick with it. I do agree with Jay Ramsey on that. You had a question, Carlos?
Question. Well, how about like if you're asking for that credit and then they don't give it to you, for whatever reason?
That's why.
That's okay.
They'll usually send you a letter.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and the hard pull means that they're looking at your credit.
Yeah, you just get inquiry on your report and it stays on there for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
Whatever.
You can essentially make those hard pulls obsolete if you leverage your credit correctly. So as long as you don't have 70 of them. if you have a lot of them, it's not going to matter. You're screwed. So, but if you have like 20 or so, or in Jonathan's case 26, which seems to be a lucky number.
So I will tell you this from personal experience, okay? And I'm still really salty about this, and Dustyn thinks it's hilarious, but
great.
So okay, having a lot of inquiries on your file
Equifax
is the #1 way to get denied something, even if you have good credit, okay? And I know this because I literally, on my credit file, I paid everything off, and I paid my truck off and all this stuff. Well, since these accounts were closed, it dropped my score a little bit, right? And so I was considered a thin file because I didn't have any installment loans. I didn't have any auto loans, and my mortgage loan hadn't hit yet because I had just closed on my house. And so I literally had nothing really on my credit except for my credit cards. Even though everything was good, it was just very thin, right? So I was like, I'm going to go to a credit union, and I'm just going to get an installment loan. And I was like, I'm just going to get like maybe $2,000, pay off my credit card balances. And, why not? So I go to a credit union, and I apply for a loan. And they tell me that the only thing that they can give me is $500. And I was like, why can you only give me $500? And they're like, well, you have a lot of inquiries on your file, because they pulled my Equifax. And my Equifax is the only credit bureau on my credit report that has a lot of inquiries for whatever reason, right? And I was like, well, what's my credit score? And they said, well, you're at an 803. I said, so you're telling me with an 803 credit score and good income that I can only get $500? And they were like, well, yeah, because you've applied for a lot here recently, you have a lot of inquiries. And I was like, all right, whatever, just give me the $500. I need the loan on my credit. It's fine, I'll pay it off. And I was really salty about it, and Dustyn thinks it's hilarious. But
yeah, it's fun. I love it. It's fucking hilarious. Oh, it's hilarious. I love it a lot. Because I don't know, it cracks me up, because there was a time where I was helping a family member, and they needed 10 grand, and I didn't have 10 grand. So I was like, well, let me go to the bank and see if I can get it approved for a loan and help you out to get out of your hole. And I went there. I was there 5 minutes, and then the personal banker said, "How much do you need?" I was like, I need $10,000." He's like, "All right, cool," and pulled everything. And then I walked out there in 15 minutes with $10,000 cash in my pocket, and he only got $500. But this was a long time ago before my credit got used. So, but anyways, going back to what Jacob was saying is on.
I'm getting people texting me questions about business credit. Is it different from state to state? That's what I'm asking. That's what they're asking.
No, it's the same throughout. The only time anything changes state to state is on the personal side if you're trying to use a credit repair company. But as far as credit itself, personal and business, it's the same throughout every state you go to on your side. If you're working with somebody to help build it and fix it, that's where it becomes different.
Like we can, for personal credit repair, our company is licensed for Texas, right? Whenever we're helping people build business credit and they're wanting to utilize our services for that, it's national. We can help anybody in any state. There's no like state requirements. So, but on y'all's side, it doesn't matter. The credit scores are the same.
Mm-hmm. Oh, going back to what you were saying, Jacob, is in using the credit is like discipline is key when you're using credit cards, no matter if it's business or personal, because they can get away from you extremely fast. So if you have a $25,000 limit and you're like, oh man, let's go to Louis V and get some shit, like let's go buy something, and that $25K will be gone quick, and then the bill comes in, you're like, oh man, what am I gonna do with this?
So one of my favorite things I'd like to teach people to do when they're going with credit, and this is something that I learned along the way, is if you're going to increase your credit limit or play with your credit, you want to make sure you have a game in play. Like you have an end that you're trying to achieve. For example, if you're going to use your credit, buy an asset that brings cash in that does more than pay the credit card balance. For example, when I increased my credit limit, I was trying to play with them like, okay, now what do I do with this money? What do I got to do? Well, that's when we found mobile home notes. And when we found mobile home notes, it gave us a lot of leverage because the cash that came in from the mobile home notes was greater than the expenses of the credit card payment. So we liquidated the credit cards, bought the notes, used the cash flow from the notes to pay down the credit cards, and then when the credit cards were paid off, that was all passive income, using none of my own money. So that's something that you can actually take a look at, right?
Right.
Use it in your personal credit cards?
Those are my personal, yes, because I had just gotten started. This was one of the things I did in that, time frame between.
That's correct.
Imagine doing the same thing, but with business credit cards where your limits are 10 times higher and the profit's still the same.
And now you're buying.
You mean you're telling me I could actually have a business credit card that allows me to get hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I could use those to potentially buy shares in a apartment complex, or a mobile home park.
I don't know the numbers, but I learned from a very smart gentleman about a year ago that personal credit cards can go up to a maximum of $250,000 a piece. Some are lower, but a few are higher. But I don't know what the limits are on business credit. They might be even bigger. The gentleman that I was talking to at the time was telling me that it was all this is all on the personal side, which I mean, I don't know about you, but if I had a $250,000 credit card, I would probably shit my pants. I don't know what I would use that thing for. You could invest in so many things, especially if you got 0% interest on purchases for a year. Game changer.
So final notes for that. So you guys, obviously, what I love is it always starts with real estate, and then as you start growing, you see opportunities, you nurture those opportunities, and it turns into something more. You guys start off with real estate. Now you're doing your business credit growth company, and you guys are still doing real estate, because I know I've been kicking your ass on some of those things with like a large portfolio of properties that we've been working on. How's that going? That was good to let you get away without talking about that.
That's been a pain in my ass since I started doing it over a year ago. So the last correspondence I had with the owner on that, we sent them 52 individual contracts per property. So this particular person had a 52 house package and they were the slumlord pretty much. And when Jonathan and I did their due diligence process and walked them, about 32 of them at the time were vacant and falling apart. So we wrote up 52 contracts, sent it to them, and they had all the due diligence process, all the pictures, all the supporting evidence, everything was there to support the offers. And they told me to go screw myself pretty much, that they want appraisal value for their houses. So I'm like, well, whenever you're ready to sell, give me a call. You know, my offer still stands. So they had 12
Well,
pounds.
first he wasn't calling you back.
No, this is the wife. I mean, and she's
oh yeah, she's a smart one.
She
was also like, I think she was still pregnant when these all started going on, right?
My wife?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm talking about the owner's wife.
Oh, well, I wasn't talking about her. Okay, cool.
And it was, needless to say, it was fun.
So, but they weren't calling you back. And you guys kept trying to get in touch, and they weren't. So you called me, asked for my insight. What did I tell you to do?
Send the 52 contracts.
Send 52 individual contracts.
We were up until 2:00 in the morning printing out contracts and pictures and fired them off to them. And it was a box of like 12, 14 pounds of paper. And they called me right after they got it. Like, what the hell is this? I'm like, well, you weren't answering your phone, and we're calling us back, and you think we were serious. So here you go. Enjoy. You got some kindling for your fireplace now.
It was literally like me sitting there typing the stuff in for the contract, sending them to him to double check and print. And it was like a line, a work line we had going on, and we had a stack of.
You have a picture. I'll send you the picture of the contracts. It was nuts. But anyway, so that deal kind of fell through because they didn't like our offer, and I ended up telling the owner, I was like, look, whenever you guys are ready to sell, you see my offers, you know there's no BS behind them, and we're not going to bait and switch. Whenever you're ready to sell, let us know.
Because they already had somebody put under contract for like, it was like 80 or 90% of appraisal value or something, and they weren't able to close. And the reason why they weren't able to close is because no one's going to fund that deal because it's not a good deal. You know, I mean, what they were offering plus the repair costs would have been more than what they could sell it for. They're going to lose money, and no one's going to fund that. So
the only way they would have been able to make that deal work at 90% value is they had access to a hedge fund, and they could have gone negative for about 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And then the owners were not very trustworthy. So an owner finance would be very bad for the person that would try to go into business with them. Because you told us that scenario too, Jacob. And after talking to them and they would tell me certain things, and then whenever I call them back to follow up, it'd be a totally different game. So that's why the owner finance was not going to be an option, because we would have gotten royally effed on the backside of that one. So
it's all about the relationships. You got to grow them, and if they're not there, they're not there. So
they should have a stack of papers on their desk still, I'm sure. So whenever they're ready to move on and get away from it and all the BS offers they're getting, they'll call. They know we were serious. We got everything in order for that deal too. We were working with a lender that was going to lend on all 52 houses. We got everything lined out, ready to go. And all we had to do was get them to accept the offer, and that was it. And we were probably the only person that came through there that had everything lined up, ready to close. But I don't know what their problem was, but oh well. Something will happen. They'll come back. I have a feeling.
But do you want them?
Yeah, if I can get them at the price that I told them that I'd buy them for.
If the numbers work, numbers work.
Huh?
If the numbers work, the number works.
Exactly. And they would work at that number. So
well, guys, I'm so glad you're here. So for those of you who are just tuning in or listening for the first time, or just don't care and you're just still here, whatever it might be, we are going to be doing a debt elimination challenge. Yes, a debt elimination challenge, meaning we're going to start getting some of our community members together for people who want to actually go ahead and start improving their financial literacy by fixing their credit and eliminating their monthly debt. We're going to be doing a challenge coming up here right around, excuse me, that was COVID. Made me cold. I got chills. So no, we're having a debt elimination challenge. Coronavirus. Coronavirus. Oh my God, I'm trying to do a plug. This is not the day. I swear to God, I'm still like in dust from that condo. It's got like asbestos on my skin. Feels dirty. Anyway, so now back to the actual plug. We're going to be doing a debt elimination challenge. If you want to get involved, you certainly may. It's not going to be anything crazy. It's just to help you guys out. We want to give back and help our community. So if you or someone you know wants to either build their credit or repair their credit and improve their financial literacy, we're going to do some basic things. I'm going to invoke the powers that be here with Jonathan and Dustyn. They're going to help with some of this stuff. We're also going to be working with drum roll. George Antone of Finance Academy. He's going to be helping us out a lot as well. So it's all, you don't have to be an investor. You don't have to be a business owner. You don't have to be an employee. You can be whoever you want to be. You can invest in stocks, real estate, or nothing, does not matter. This is about helping you guys build your financial literacy and improve your net worth. So it's going to be a challenge we're going to be doing probably at right in the middle of November. I think I'm going to have it start actually right around Thanksgiving. That's my thought. Okay. So we're going to get it going. That way we can actually start 2021 ready to go. So be thinking about that. So be looking into it. We're planning it now. It's actually one of Derek's brainchildren that he came up with. Well, part mine, he came up with the name. And so I'm like, all right, fine, Derek, we're going to do it. Derek, are you there? He doesn't care. He's making popcorn. I can smell it.
Yeah, eating popcorn and loving it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I kind of figured. Fat ass. So, yeah, we're doing your challenge, so you better make it work.
Yeah, biggest loser may win.
We like to do a lot of game things. Who's this Samsung person coming in here? I'll make sure I'm not getting, like, hacked. Let's see. Who are you, Samsung SMG9?
You're going to make sure after the fact. Okay.
Hello, Jarmello. How are you? Okay, so I think he's coming over. Cool, that might be him. All right, so. Hello, who are you? Welcome to the party. Hopefully you're also drinking at 4:30 in the afternoon, although it is not 4:30 and it's not time to drink.
Is it frowned upon if it's 3:15?
Not in my book.
Right,
I'm
cool.
an entrepreneur, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Bo can suck the alcohol out of a deodorant stick. Still won't phase him.
True. Very true. Hey, boys, one real quick question. The APR rate on personal versus business cards, is there like a difference? Like, is business generally lower because you're sometimes getting a larger limit because it's a business versus personal, or is it kind of the same?
Not that I've seen. They range pretty close to this, very similar to each other.
Yeah.
I think it's also gonna depend on who the card is with.
Got it.
It might be different with American Express. It might be different with MasterCard, Visa. But from the ones that we've personally went after ourselves, there wasn't much of a difference. And if you do see something and that is different, let us know, so that way, because we're in the building process too, so we're still getting a lot of information and learning a lot as well as we're going through it. So if you see something that you say, hey, this one looks a little different, shout out to us and say, hey man, I see this card here and they have a lower APR for businesses, and let us know, because we'll start pushing people that we're working with. Hey, this has really good perks, or this has a good APR, go after this card here.
Right. Just a left field random thought that popped in my brain. I was like, oh, can't hurt to ask.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Excellent.
So come and join us on Investor Party. We have a great time. We do a lot of things together. We're all about creating a community of investors that actually do deals together and support each other while we're building our businesses. So you bitches better get on there, because I've been trying to get you there for a minute. So stop fighting me. Shut up. I've not led you wrong yet. And start participating. Got it?
I think so. Can you repeat that one more time, please? You kind of broke up. I couldn't hear you.
Or the rest of it. Oh, Investor Party.
Got your T-Pain voice.
Oh, I said get your ass on the Investor Party. We have an app and everything.
You have to tell Karen, that way he'll come.
I just text Karen to come here, so we'll see if she comes. Because
Investorparty.com. See it?
Here she comes. Come here.
Shameless plug, right there.
Jacob wants to say hello.
Where is she?
She's right here.
Where my chat box is in my thing. Hi, gorgeous. How are you, Mama?
Good.
Where's the baby?
My wife Karen sleeping.
Yes, he's sleeping.
Oh well, that's lucky time. Yeah, I was complimenting you earlier, so you weren't here to hear about it. So now moment's over, so you got to rewatch the video.
I'm planning freezer meals right now.
Oh, we're expecting another one. So
Yes.
What?
yeah, August.
Congratulations! We had no idea. Why didn't we have an idea? Yay! Why didn't I know? Yay! Congratulations! Yay!
So August or October 10th is the due date. So
that's my birthday.
Is it really?
No, I'm making it up. Yes, that's my birthday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is the future.
Future baby.
Success, right?
Is it going to be a boy or girl?
Future success.
I didn't realize how that sounded until I said it.
Yeah, I heard that.
We don't know the sex yet. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl yet. We're gonna find out.
That's okay. I'm kind of fluid, so it doesn't matter to me. I support it either way. You know, you might be born one, it might turn into another. We're okay with all of this. We're an open community. Whatever you need, guys. Abundance speaks no gender. So anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
You want to be surprised at the delivery?
Yeah. So we
what are you thinking about? What names are you thinking? You know, like Jacob? Anything like that?
We haven't got a boy name yet, so that could very well be on the docket. So it's a possibility.
Okay, well, just throwing it out there.
I like it. We're taking recommendations.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, so congratulations and welcome to the party. So join Investor Party. See what we're doing. I want to get you guys involved. We are going to do this debt elimination challenge. You guys have been so much fun to work with. I've actually really enjoyed getting to know you the past year and a half. So let's continue to work together and build some lives and change some lives as we go about doing it. So
yeah, for sure.
Awesome job, guys. I'm so proud of you guys. And thank you all for being here at the party. And until next time, be safe, have fun. We will see you later. Wednesday, by the way, Wednesday, Don Pendleton's coming on. No, Wednesday. Parminder. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. All of you need to be here for this. So one of my students back in the day in Chicago was, she's brilliant. I was with her on a dance lesson. She told me this idea she had, and this idea that she had 7 years ago is now a multi-million-dollar business that she has using tech. She is a minoritized female in the tech industry as a CEO. She's amazing. Okay, come and learn from her. We're gonna have a great conversation. I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. She is brilliant. All right, so we will see you on Wednesday, 3 o'clock for the party. Be there, and I will talk to you later, guys. Have a great day. Bye.
Yeah.